Hi everyone, what's up? It's Joshua here with Alternative Brewing, and today we're taking a look at the Comandante C40 Mk4 Nitro blade hand grinder, and this is the latest evolution to one of the most iconic hand grinders going, and it's Commandante's incremental improvements upon this model that really provides credibility to the saying, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. Now before we dive straight in, to take a look at all the details that make this new grinder even better than previous models, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, then go ahead and click that button now, followed by the bell icon, and this way you keep up to date with the latest videos and product reviews that we bring out each week. And if you like what you see here today, go ahead and smash that like button, and we'll keep making the videos that you want to watch. With that, let's jump right in. At a glance, the new MK4 could be mistaken for one of its predecessors. And it's only when you pick it up and you feel the grinder in your hand that you get an appreciation for the lighter build of the MK4 at nearly 150 grams lighter than the Comandante MK3. The look is iconic, but the feel, which is something a little bit harder to explain, in using a Comandante grinder, it really can't be understated. Now certainly, there's no indication that with less weight on the MK4 that there's been less craftsmanship that's been poured into this grinder. And every aspect of the manufacturing and build, which is done in-house in Germany, is known to have thorough quality assurances. Materials used: the MK4 displays stainless steel on the crank handle as well as the main body of the grinder, with hardened plastics for the lid and the support brackets on the inside of the grinder. And these are a new redesigned shape to avoid common grievances with earlier models. So when dosing in now, beans fall straight through and past these brackets without any possible chance of bouncing out or catching. And with a hopper full to its 40 to 50 gram capacity, then placing the lid on, it's much easier to do. With a good sized Oakwood pommel and wood veneer wrap to the outside, the Commandante achieves small textural details, like the not etched or lasered, but burnt into the wood Commandante logo that adds to the grinder's remarkable impression. The MK4 comes with two screw-on grinds catchers, one a clear polymer glass jar and the other regular glass in amber, with one lid shared between them, and these can hold the full capacity to the grinder. These jars stand out for so many reasons that are often overlooked on the Commandante. For one, having two jars allows you to weigh beans out into one and then dose easily into the top of the Commandante whilst grinding out into the other. My personal favourite is the diameter of the grinds catcher, which fits a variety of brewers, from the 58mm portafilter basket to dosing straight into an AeroPress, to the Flair espresso maker or the Pico Presso no worries, or even a Bialete 4-cup mocha pot brew basket. And I'm sure there's plenty more compatibility out there with the Commandante's grinds catcher, but these are the brewers that I use often, and then transferring grounds into them is effortless. I only noticed slight differences in the static when using the polymer grinds catcher compared to the glass one. And if you were to ask me, I still prefer to use the glass catcher over the polymer one, but understandably, the polymer makes for a much lighter setup with much less concern for breakage too. And you can always use the RDT method before dosing to avoid any excess static if it's present. Further aspects to the build of the MK4, like the pommel to the crank handle and the crank handle to the drive shaft, are magnetically attached, with a very comfortable grip that transfers power to the drive shaft, and neither are about to slip off during grinding. The clear lid helps prevent any popcorning and bouncing out of beans whilst grinding, and then on the inside there's a steel axle with two steel ball bearings, top and bottom, that support the drivetrain so the burrs turn smoothly with wobble-free grinding action. Looking at the burr set, that hasn't changed from the previous model MK3, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with that. The 39mm high alloy, high nitrogen treated steel burrs are not only extremely durable for longer lasting, sharper blades on the cutting edge, but they do have a specific geometry or shape of the burr, and this makes it unique from most other hand grinders. This is something Commandante are very proud of. There is a consistent edge that runs the full height of each of the 7 flanks of the burr, and this improves the efficiency where it grinds faster than expected, along with maximizing the quality of the grinding output. Now, the Comandante MK4 is a stepped grinder. You'll want to remove the grinds catcher, but keep the crank handle on and hold it steady, whilst you rotate that dial under the burrs to change the grind. There are 12 clicks to a full rotation of the dial, with around 5 full rotations for workable grind settings. There's also a diagram available around the burr set that let you know which way for finer and which way for coarser. Now, with there being no numbers to easily track the current setting that you're on or which one to go to, say if you were jumping between brew methods, a trick Joe from Commandante has demonstrated is rather than moving this dial one click at a time to get all the way back to 0 and then count up again to get to the grind setting that you're after, you can safely hold that dial whilst you rotate that crank handle to quickly get back to 0. And then say if you're aiming for a pour over grind of 25 clicks, with every full 360-degree rotation of that crank handle, you add 12 grind settings. So 2 full rotations of the handle to get to 24 clicks, and then just add 1 more to get to 25. Now, the Comandante MK4 is an all-purpose grinder, and it will grind for any brew method, from Turkish coffee at 5 clicks or under, to espresso brewing of a range from 7 to 12 clicks, to mocha pot at around 15 clicks. Then you have your AeroPress and Delta coffee press, as well as pour over coffee, spanning a range from 18 to 28 clicks. Then there's French press from around 25 to 28 clicks, and then cold brewing from 30 clicks and onwards. Alright, so this is the segment where I grind out a full dose of beans with the grinder. I've got 20 grams of filter roasted coffee here, and I've got the Comandante MK4 set at 19, which is like an average AeroPress grind, I guess. Let's do it. Really easy to get going. Smooth grinding, and that noise. It just differs from all other hand grinders. There's a timbre to it I can't explain. Low pitch. A few more in there. All right. Sweet. I've always admired the grind quality that's produced by a Commandante grinder, and to the naked eye, I would just explain it as looking beautiful. Perhaps there is some consistency to its quality, as well as taking in the performance from a really great burr set, and this may be why many will attest to the Commandante grinder brewing the best filter and manually brewed coffee, where the Commandante brings out the best balance in flavor notes while still providing a high amount of clarity and sweetness in the cup. Now, of course, you can take all of that with face value, though there is a reason that many coffee competitors prefer to use a Commandante grinder for its performance and the reliability to produce the same results day in, day out for years without that performance ever wavering. This reliability in grind settings ensures a relatability universally across every one of the Commandante grinders, so you're able to share your grind settings or use others to replicate recipes. And still, with so many brands and variations of hand grinders out there on the market, the Commandante still sort of acts as that general knowledge grinder, where people will often associate another grind setting back to the Commandante's grind settings, like it's an 18 or a 19 on the Commandante, as an example. Now, it could be said there is a limited range to dial in an espresso using the Commandante, and in light of this, Commandante have what's known as the Red Clix upgrade, available in the shop link up here, and this upgrades your standard Commandante grinder, where it essentially then doubles your grind settings. So in turn, it will double the range you have for espresso brewing. So with the Commandante out of the box as is, it has an espresso range of say 7 to 12 clicks or 5 grind settings. Then add the Red Clix upgrade, and this will boost that range and become 14 to 24 with 10 grind settings to choose from. And then you could still probably adjust it 1 or 2 clicks coarser or finer and still get good results. And to highlight this otherwise missed detail, the Comandante MK4 has been made to be backward compatible. So any mods or additions that were available to the MK3 will also work to the MK4, like the red Clix upgrade, new crank handles, replacement pommels, and some spare parts. As well as the funky Commandante felt sleeve. I don't have one on me right now, but you can find all of this Commandante gear from this link up above. Now, not to forget, the MK4 also comes in several models. This by far is the most popular model, the American Cherry, but they've also carried over some of their classic looks, as well as a few new colors in their latest release. Now, in taking care of your Commandante, it's relatively easy to pull apart, to clean and maintain. Just undo the settings dial all the way off the bottom of the grinder to let the inner burr drop out. Then slowly remove the axle from the top of the grinder, along with those washers that sit on top of the ball bearings. Now, you might notice there's no little red O-ring now to get lost on the MK4 either. Wipe everything down with a dry cloth, and then it's fairly simple to reassemble. You'll want to do this regularly to stop any buildup from fine coffee particles. And that's the Comandante C40 Mk4 Nitro blade for you. Now, Commandante continue to produce high quality hand grinders with the Mk4, and even with many other grinders being released in the last few years competing in this space, offering their own unique features, I'm not sure this really impacts the admirable performance and value you get with a Commandante grinder. And I believe there is still plenty on offer in using one and brewing great coffee. And it's still up there, and it has been for a very long time, as one of the very best hand grinders that money can buy. So if you have any questions on the Commandante C40, then add them in the comment section down below and we'll get straight back to you. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. And as always, we'll see you again in the next one.